Hey gang, I'm Paul Stepback. Welcome back to our channel. Jordan and I were in the middle of putting up our crown molding on the top of our cabinets and our light mold around the bottom of our cabinets with our new 2P10 adhesive, a CA glue for the corners. We love it. We can't wait to show you the results. But this video is about the saw blade on our miter saw. So the day we began installing the crown, I got here early and I wanted to put my crown stop on here. You've seen us use this before. We're going to talk about it more later. But I even put some markings on here. IR for an inside right corner, OL for an outside left. On the left, 45-degree detent. I've got the opposite markings over here. Again, we're going to show you that later.
Because you cut crown upside down.
That's right.
And we always have trouble.
Yeah.
You know, what angle?
Even on your best days, you mess up.
Right.
So this helps you not to mess up, especially when you have a limited amount of
We talked about doing that the last time we did crown. We did it, and I would say it helped immensely.
It did.
But they'll see that.
Yep. And the other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to put on a freshly sharpened blade. So I brought one from home. It still had the wax protective coating on the teeth. I haven't found a place here in Baton Rouge to have that done. So I actually have these sent to New England. I can't remember which state. They sent them back to me. They engrave them and everything. So after I mounted the blade, I wanted to make sure it was square to the fence and to the table. So I have these 1, 2, 3 blocks. They are precision machined pieces of steel, 1 inch by 2 inch by 3 inch. All the surfaces are square to each other. You know, I wonder if the metric guys have a comparable block.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 10 millimeter by a 32.5 millimeter.
I would imagine it would be 2 centimeter by, I don't know, I'm not even gonna guess. You metric guys, let us know. That would be interesting to know if there's a metric 1, 2, 3 block. So here's how I use it. Put it against my fence, push it against the blade, and you can see I'm good. Then checking against the table, slide it against the blade, and I'm good. And then there, you can see I'm perfectly square to the table. So after I got that dialed in, I was super confident in my saw. I had my new crown stop on here with my indicators. I had a blade that was freshly sharpened and square to the table, square to the fence. So then I could concentrate all my effort on our crown, making the correct cuts, and my new glue, making sure we got perfect 90-degree angles. So it's finally time to cut some crown. We put our crown on our saw, I pulled the trigger, and immediately I knew something was off. I chalked it up to the fact that I switched from a thin kerf blade to a 1/8 inch thick blade. If you've ever done that, you know the 1/8 inch blades are thicker and they're heavier, and it takes the saw a fraction of a second to ramp up. And what I was feeling wasn't the fact that I had a heavier blade, it was actually a wobble in the blade, and I could feel it coming through the handle. One saw blade from another has different slots, different number of teeth, and they actually sound different. So I turned on the saw and I made my first cut. So I'm gonna plug the saw in and we're gonna make a cut with our newly sharpened blade, and I'm gonna show you what happened. And here's the result. I'm gonna hold it up there and see if Jordan can zoom in on it a little bit. And can you see those paint chips? That looks terrible. And then when you put another piece of trim on there with the same number of chip outs, it kind of doubles the effect. Now we've experienced this paint chipping before on the saw stop when we were ripping lumber to trim out those cabinets. So we thought it was just the paint adhesion. But check out the edge. Look at the grooves in the edge of that cut. That looks like the grooves in an old record, doesn't it?
What is that?
A record?
No, I'm just playing.
And we need a smooth cut there, a smooth surface for our 2P10 glue to work properly. So we installed it on the first cabinet, did the second cabinet, but by the time we got to the third cabinet, it was really bad. And then I knew something was wrong when we had to make one of our cuts on the saw stop because this saw wouldn't tip the right direction. Now that blade has been on the saw stop for over a year. It's cut through LVLs, plywood, all kind of stuff. But the cut from that blade was superior, far superior to the cut from this brand new blade. So I knew something was wrong. I thought about it all night. I came back the next morning, I diagnosed the blade, and let me show you what I found. All right guys, I took the blade off, and the first thing I thought, maybe I had left this on there from the previous blade. You see how easy it fell off of that DeWalt blade? And that would give you trouble if you left that on there, but that wasn't the problem. So then I took off this washer, I inspected it. It was fine. Yeah, it's got a little paint on there, but that's nothing. I inspected the other side and it was fine. I thought maybe the blade was on there crooked and it was wobbling, but that was perfect. So once I discovered all this was fine, I went back to my blade, picked it up, got my Starrett combination square with that straight blade on it, because I thought maybe I had a dish in the blade or it was warped or bent. But look at that, perfectly flat across several different axes. So I'm like, now I'm really stumped. You know, what is wrong with this blade? So I just started taking it like this, Looking at the teeth, and lo and behold, I've already got it marked. Check that one out right there. It's got a major chip in that tooth. And that's why this blade was wobbling so much. So isn't that nuts that one little chip would make this blade wobble? Now this thing's going about 120 miles an hour. If you figured that's 12 inches across, it's a little over 3 feet diameter. It's going 4,000 RPM, 12,000 feet per minute. That's over 120 miles an hour. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure this was fine. I got the old blade. This actually is the blade that came with the saw. We've been using this to cut. Oh, crap. What are the chances? So let's put this old blade back on the saw, make a cut, and compare the differences. All right, I've got the blade that came with this saw on there. Pretty inexpensive DeWalt blade, thin kerf that's been through heck. Again, here's our cut from that newly sharpened 1/8 blade. Let's make a cut and compare the two. All right, there we go. One tiny little paint chip, but that is 100 times better than that other cut. Again,
Way smoother.
yep, the old DeWalt thin kerf blade right there. A newly sharpened finishing blade with a missing tooth. And the other thing I noticed immediately, the vibration is gone from the saw. I'm not feeling it through the handle, and I can hear it too. So that's a good temporary solution, putting this thin kerf blade back on here, but I'm not gonna leave it on there when we finish this crown. I'm gonna go buy a brand new 1/8 inch thick finishing blade. In previous videos, a lot of you guys mentioned in the comments that these thin kerf blades do wobble, and that is true. So we're gonna put a 1/8 inch thick blade on there, like I said, and come back and finish our crown. We can't wait to show you the results with our 2P10 adhesive. It looks fantastic now, and I think it's gonna look even better with that new blade. So if you guys like this video where we kind of take a detour and do a deep dive into maybe a tool problem we're having or a material problem we're having, let us know in the comments below. Smash that like button for us. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we're gonna see you on our next video.